Imagine you're sitting at your desk, just finally getting used to the rounded corners and centered taskbar of Windows 11, when a headline pops up on your feed that stops you in your tracks. It's a story claiming that Windows 12 is right around the corner, and this time, everything you know about your computer is changing forever. Maybe you heard it's going to be a mandatory monthly subscription, or that your local hard drive is basically becoming a relic because the entire operating system is moving to the cloud. Over the last several months, these rumors haven't just been whispers in niche tech forums, they've exploded across social media, racking up millions of views and sparking a genuine sense of anxiety among everyday users. People are frustrated, and honestly, who can blame them? We're living in an era where it feels like we don't really own our devices anymore, and the tech giants are just waiting for the right moment to squeeze a few more dollars out of us or force another innovation down our throats that we never actually asked for. But here's the thing about that viral Windows 12 leak that's been making the rounds. It's almost entirely fiction. It's a ghost story born from a game of digital telephone, a mistranslated article that spiraled out of control and fed into our deepest tech-related fears. Yet, as we peel back the layers of this specific lie, we find ourselves staring at a much more uncomfortable truth. Because while the rumor itself might be false for now, the fears it taps into the bloat, the forced AI integration, and the loss of user control are very, very real. Today, we're going to look at how a single fake story fooled the internet, why Microsoft is actually leaning into these controversial features anyway, and what it means for the future of the computer sitting on your desk right now. To understand how we got here, we have to look at the messy way information travels on the modern internet. If you go back to the source of the most recent Windows 12 frenzy, you won't find a press release from Redmond or a leaked memo from a high-level executive. Instead, you find a trail of breadcrumbs leading back to a poorly translated article from a regional tech site that misinterpreted a routine update about Windows 11 version 24 H2. Someone, somewhere, saw a mention of next-generation AI experiences and decided that this must mean a whole new operating system. This spark hit the tinder of social media, where creators hungry for clicks turned maybe into definitely and eventually into next month. Within days, the story had mutated like a virus. Now, it wasn't just a new OS. It was a mandatory AI-driven platform that would lock your files behind a paywall. The original site eventually retracted the article, admitting they had no credible sources. But by then, the damage was done. The lie had already traveled halfway around the world, while the truth was still putting its boots on. This is the danger of the modern tech cycle. We are so primed to expect the worst from these companies that we stop checking our sources. We've become a captive audience for what many call AI slop, where low-quality, AI-generated content feeds on our collective anxieties just to generate a few cents of ad revenue. But we have to ask ourselves a deeper question. Why did we all believe it so easily? Why did a random, retracted article feel so plausible to millions of people? The answer lies in Microsoft's own behavior over the last 2 years. While they might not be releasing Windows 12 next Tuesday, they have been moving the goalposts of what an operating system is supposed to be. Think about the introduction of Copilot. It wasn't just an optional app you could download if you were curious. It was baked into the taskbar, pushed into your face with every update, and integrated into the very fabric of the software. Then came the recall controversy, a feature designed to take screenshots of your screen every few seconds so an AI could help you remember what you were doing. To many, it felt less like a helpful assistant and more like a digital stalker. Microsoft's vision for the future isn't a secret. They've explicitly talked about moving toward an agentic operating system. This is a fancy way of saying they want Windows to be more than just a place where you run programs. They want it to be an active participant in your life, anticipating your needs, writing your emails, and organizing your schedule before you even ask. On paper, that sounds like science fiction come to life. In practice, it feels like a massive loss of agency. The core of the problem isn't just the AI itself, it's the way it's being implemented. When we talk about bloatware, we used to mean pre-installed games or trials of antivirus software you didn't want. Now, bloatware is becoming something much more fundamental. It's the AI models running in the background, eating up your RAM and processing power for features you might never use. It's the constant prompts to try Copilot or sign in with your Microsoft account to unlock the full potential of your hardware. We are seeing a shift where the operating system is no longer a neutral tool for the user, but a platform for the developer to push their own agenda. This push for an AI-centric future is contributing to a broader cultural shift toward what critics are calling the dead internet. You've probably seen it yourself. Twitter threads that sound like they were written by a robot, LinkedIn posts full of empty corporate platitudes, and YouTube thumbnails that look just a little too perfect to be real. This is the slop that the Windows 12 rumor thrived on. When we fill our operating systems with AI tools that can generate text and images with a single click, we aren't just making things easier. We're lowering the barrier to entry for misinformation and eroding the value of actual human thought. Let's talk about the data for a second, because the numbers tell a fascinating story. Despite the massive push for AI, Windows 11 adoption has been significantly slower than Windows 10 was at the same point in its lifecycle. A huge part of that is due to the strict hardware requirements, specifically the TPM2 requirement that turned perfectly functional PCs into e-waste overnight in the eyes of the software. This created a rift between Microsoft and its user base. When you tell millions of people their hardware isn't good enough for the new version, and then you start loading that new version with features they find intrusive, you create a vacuum of trust. That trust vacuum is exactly where rumors about Windows 12 and forced subscriptions start to feel like facts. In the corporate world, IT managers are looking at these AI features with a mix of curiosity and absolute terror. From a security standpoint, an operating system that constantly recalls everything you do is a nightmare. Expert opinions in the cybersecurity space have been scathing, pointing out that if a hacker gets access to a machine with these agentic features enabled, they don't just get your files, they get a chronological history of every single thing you've seen or typed. This brings us to the real-world impact on you, the person just trying to get some work done or play a game. The more the operating system tries to be an agent, the more it gets in your way. We're seeing a rise in UI friction, where simple tasks now require navigating through layers of AI suggestions or cloud-based menus. It's a subtle form of control. If the computer is doing the thinking for you, what happens to your own critical thinking skills? If the AI is drafting your emails and summarizing your documents, are you still the one in charge of the narrative, or are you just the final editor for a machine's best guess? There is a psychological cost to this transition. When our tools stop being extensions of our will and start having a will of their own, the relationship between human and machine changes. It becomes more transactional and less creative. We are being conditioned to accept a future where we are the product, and our attention is the currency that pays for the convenience of AI. Then there's the question of the subscription model, which was one of the loudest parts of the Windows 12 rumor. While there is currently no evidence that Microsoft is going to charge you $20 a month just to boot up your computer, the industry trend towards software as a service is undeniable. We already have Microsoft 365, we have Game Pass, and we have OneDrive. The hardware companies are watching the software companies and realizing that selling a device once isn't nearly as profitable as renting you the experience of using it forever. If Windows eventually moves toward a more aggressive subscription-based model, it won't happen all at once. It'll be death by 1,000 cuts. It will start with premium AI features that require a monthly fee, then perhaps a light version of the OS that is free but supported by ads. We've already seen ads appearing in the Start menu and the File Explorer of Windows 11. This isn't a conspiracy theory, it's a documented business strategy. The viral rumor about Windows 12 was a localized lie, but the general direction of travel is exactly what the rumor predicted. We are being steered toward a future where the operating system is a service, not a product you own. To really dig into why this matters, we have to look at the history of Windows itself and the cycle of trust Microsoft has built and broken over the decades. Think back to the transition from Windows 7 to Windows 8. That was the first time many users felt like the company was building an interface for someone else in that case. Tablet users, while ignoring the people who actually use desktops. Windows 10 was supposed to be the final version of Windows, a stable platform that would just be updated forever. But then Windows 11 arrived with its strict hardware requirements, and suddenly the goalposts moved again. Now, with the specter of AI looming over everything, users are feeling a sense of fatigue. It's not just about the software anymore, it's about the feeling that the ground is constantly shifting under our feet. When a rumor like Windows 12 being a subscription service goes viral, it's not because people are gullible. It's because the tech industry has spent the last decade proving that nothing is off limits when it comes to monetization. We've seen BMW try to charge a subscription for heated seats, and Adobe move from software you own to software you rent forever. Why wouldn't we expect Microsoft to follow suit? One of the most surprising insights from this whole saga is how much Microsoft is actually struggling to define what AI in Windows even means. They are throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. First, it was Bing Chat. Then it was Copilot. Then it was Copilot plus PCs with specialized hardware. It feels frantic because it is. Microsoft is in a race with Google, Apple, and OpenAI to own the interface of the future. They are so afraid of being left behind that they are willing to risk the stability and reputation of Windows to get there first. This rush results in half-baked features and slop that makes the user experience feel cluttered and inhuman. When you use a computer today, it often feels like you're being watched, nudged, and marketed to. The operating system has become a loud, crowded marketplace instead of a quiet, focused workspace. This is the bloat that people are really reacting to. It's not just the file size. It's the mental weight of using a piece of software that doesn't seem to respect your time or your privacy. Consider the role of the NPU, or Neural Processing Unit, which is the new hardware darling of the industry. Microsoft and its hardware partners are pushing these new chips as a revolution in computing. But for the average person who just wants to browse the web, write a report, or edit a photo, the benefits of a local NPU are still largely theoretical. Yet, the push for these chips is creating a new digital divide. If you don't have the latest silicon, you're essentially being told that your computer is obsolete, even if it's only 2 years old. This planned obsolescence is being rebranded as innovation, but it looks a lot like a way to force a massive hardware refresh across the entire world. And for what? So that an AI can help you search for a file 2 seconds faster? Or so that Microsoft can run more complex telemetry in the background? The trade-off just doesn't seem to favor the user, and the lack of transparency about what these AI features actually do only fuels the fire of misinformation. The controversy surrounding Recall is perhaps the best example of this. Microsoft had to pause the rollout and make it an opt-in feature because the backlash was so intense. This was a rare moment where the public actually pushed back hard enough to make a tech giant blink. But don't be fooled, the feature hasn't been canceled. It's being reworked, rebranded, and refined. The goal is still the same: total visibility into the user's digital life to feed the AI models. This creates a fascinating paradox. To make the AI smarter and more helpful, it needs more of your data. But the more of your data it takes, the less secure and private you become. It's a trade-off that many users aren't willing to make, but Microsoft is betting that eventually we won't have a choice. As the older versions of Windows reach their end-of-life dates, users will be forced onto these newer, AI-integrated platforms, whether they like it or not. It's a game of attrition, where the company just has to wait for your old computer to die, or for the security risks of staying on an old OS to become too high. We also have to talk about the impact on critical thinking and the quality of the information we consume. When the operating system itself starts generating text, summaries, and images, it blurs the line between human creation and machine output. We are already seeing the slop take over search engines and social media feeds, making it harder and harder to find genuine human expertise. If Windows becomes a factory for this kind of content, the problem will only accelerate. Imagine a student using Windows 12 to summarize a textbook, then using it to draft an essay, then using it to generate a presentation. At no point in that process has the student actually engaged with the material. They have simply managed a set of AI tools. This is the agentic future. Microsoft is selling a future where the agent does the work and you just sign off on it. It sounds like efficiency, but it feels like an intellectual hollow out. We are trading the difficulty of learning for the ease of clicking a button, and we are losing something vital in the process. This shift also has massive implications for the developer community and the software ecosystem as a whole. For decades, Windows was the platform where you could build anything. It was an open, flexible environment. But as Microsoft integrates AI more deeply into the core of the OS, They are also tightening their grip on how software is developed and distributed. If your app doesn't play nice with Copilot or doesn't leverage the NPU in the right way, will it be penalized? We've already seen how the Microsoft Store has tried to centralize app distribution, mirroring the walled gardens of Apple and Google. An AI-driven Windows 12 would likely take this even further, creating a system where the OS isn't just a foundation, but a gatekeeper that decides which tools are efficient enough for the modern user. This kind of central control is the opposite of the freedom that made the PC such a revolutionary tool in the first place. It turns the computer from a bicycle for the mind into a guided tour of someone else's digital property. Let's think about the psychological toll of all this smart technology. There is something exhausting about a computer that is constantly trying to help you. It's like having a personal assistant who won't stop talking while you're trying to read. Every time a new suggestion pops up or a sidebar slides out to offer an AI summary, it breaks your flow. It's a form of cognitive load that we haven't fully accounted for. The tech companies call it engagement, but for the user, it's just noise. The Windows 12 rumors about forced AI and subscriptions hit such a nerve because we are already reaching a breaking point with this noise. We want our computers to be quiet. We want them to be predictable. We want them to do exactly what we tell them to do, and nothing else. But the business model of modern tech requires the opposite. It requires constant updates, constant data collection, and constant newness to justify the stock price. This misalignment between what the user needs and what the company wants is the real story behind every fake leak and viral rumor. As we look at the landscape of the next few years, it's clear that the Windows 12 rumor was a symptom of a much larger disease. We are living through a period of deep technological uncertainty where the rules are being rewritten in real time. We see the potential of AI to do amazing things, but we also see it being used to create slop, to invade our privacy, and to turn our tools into subscription-based services. The rumor about a monthly fee and a total AI takeover resonated because it felt like the logical conclusion of everything we've seen. It was a lie that told a truth. We need to be more critical of the headlines we see on TikTok or X, but we also need to stay vigilant about the slow, quiet changes being made to the software we use every day. If we don't pay attention to the slow creep of these features, we might wake up one day and realize that the version of Windows we loved, the one that was just a tool for us to use, is gone for good. It won't be because of a sudden release of Windows 12. It will be because of 100 small updates that slowly eroded our ownership and our privacy. So, what does the future actually look like? If Windows 12 isn't coming out tomorrow, what is? The reality is likely a Windows 11.5 situation, a series of deep AI-integrated updates that fundamentally change how the system operates without necessarily changing the version number. We are entering the era of the NPU, the Neural Processing Unit. This is a new piece of hardware in modern CPUs designed specifically for AI tasks. In the next few years, you'll see software that simply won't run without one. The hardware and software are converging to create an environment where the user is no longer the pilot, but the passenger. This has massive implications for the secondhand PC market, for repairability, and for the simple act of using a computer without being monitored. We are witnessing the end of the personal in personal computing. The computer is becoming a terminal for the cloud, and the OS is the gatekeeper. And while Microsoft might keep the Windows 11 name for a few more years to avoid the PR nightmare of another hardware-breaking release, the underlying philosophy has already shifted. We should also consider the competitive pressure that is driving these decisions. Microsoft isn't acting in a vacuum. They are looking at Apple's integrated ecosystem and Google's dominance in cloud AI, and they are terrified of becoming the next IBM, a legacy company that remains profitable but loses its relevance to the next generation of users. This fear is what drives the agentic push. They want to make sure that when you think of AI, you think of Windows. But in their rush to be relevant, they risk alienating the very people who have stuck with them for decades. The enterprise users, the gamers, the creative professionals, these are the people who rely on Windows for its stability and its blank canvas nature. By turning that canvas into a pre-filled template powered by AI, Microsoft is gambling with its core identity. The Windows 12 rumors were just a reflection of the anxiety this gamble creates in the market. People aren't just afraid of a new version. They're afraid of losing a platform that, for all its flaws, still feels like a tool they can control. One of the most telling things about the recent rumors was how quickly they were debunked by the enthusiast community, and yet how long they persisted in the mainstream. This speaks to a growing gap in tech literacy. The people who understand how Windows works knew the leak was fake within minutes. But for the average user who just sees Windows 12 and monthly fee in a headline, it's a terrifying prospect. This gap is where slop thrives. It's where bad actors and clickbait creators make their money. And as AI makes it easier to create convincing-looking fake news, this problem is only going to get worse. We are moving into a world where you can't trust your eyes or your ears when it comes to tech news. You have to look at the incentives. Why is this story being told? Who benefits from this outrage? If the answer is a random YouTube channel with 5 million views and no sources, then it's probably best to take it with a grain of salt. But we can't just blame the rumor mongers. Microsoft has a responsibility to be clearer about its roadmap. By being vague and using corporate buzzwords like agentic experiences and AI-first design, they leave a vacuum that misinformation is happy to fill. If they want to kill the rumors about Windows 12 and subscriptions, they could do it tomorrow with a clear, definitive statement. The fact that they don't tells you everything you need to know. They want to keep their options open. They want to see how much the market will tolerate before they commit to a strategy. They are testing the waters, and the viral rumors are just a way for them to gauge the public's reaction without having to take the blame for the ideas. It's a cynical way to run a platform, but it's become the standard operating procedure for big tech. In the end, the story of the Windows 12 rumor is a cautionary tale about the age of AI and the state of our digital tools. It shows us how easily we can be manipulated by misinformation when that misinformation aligns with our genuine fears. But it also shows us that those fears are grounded in reality. Microsoft is indeed building an AI-ridden future, and they are doing it with or without our consent. The agentic operating system is coming, the bloat is getting worse, and the pressure to move everything to the cloud is only increasing. While the specific leak that started this fire was a dud, the smoke it created was real. We are at a crossroads in the history of computing. Do we want our devices to be our servants, or do we want them to be our agents? Do we want a tool we can control, or a service we have to manage? These are the questions we should be asking every time we hit that update button. The next time you see a viral headline about a massive tech shift, take a deep breath and look for the source. Usually, the truth is more boring than the rumor, but in the long run, it's much more important. We are the ones who decide which technologies we accept and which ones we reject. If we value our privacy, our agency, and the quality of our digital lives, we have to be willing to speak up when the innovations feel like intrusions. The future of Windows isn't written in a leaked article or a corporate memo. It's being written every day by the people who use it and the feedback they give. Let's make sure we're the ones holding the pen, not an algorithm designed to maximize engagement at the cost of our sanity. We have more power than we think, but only if we stay informed and refuse to be led by the nose by the next viral piece of AI slop. As we move forward, the best thing you can do is to stay curious but skeptical. Look for the technical details behind the headlines. Understand the difference between a minor version update and a total platform shift. And most importantly, don't let the fear of a Windows 12 subscription keep you from making the most of the tools you have right now. Whether you choose to stick with Windows, explore Linux, or move to a different ecosystem entirely, the choice should be yours, based on facts, not on rumors designed to keep you clicking. The digital world is getting noisier, but that just means we have to be more intentional about what we listen to. If you found this deep dive into the state of Windows and the future of AI interesting, make sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We're going to keep tracking these stories and separating the fact from the fiction in this rapidly changing tech landscape. There's a lot more to uncover about how these companies are changing the way we live and work, and I want to make sure you have the full picture. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one.